who was dead at the beginning of Kill My Mother. He's Sam.
This is
The husband who, at the
of,
beginning of Kill My Mother.
the husband of Elsie and the father of...
Yes. And the prequel is about how he dies.
Jules Feiffer met us at our New York bureau with a stack of oversized drawings, a bigger stack of memories, and a copy of the new book about him, Out of Line. It includes his crayon drawing of Mickey Mouse from 1934. Jules was a 5-year-old kid in the Bronx.
5. I had to be better than this at 5.
I don't think that's a bad Mickey Mouse for a 5-year-old.
4 perhaps, but 5, it's... I'm a little worried about his future.
You were just drawing for amusement all the time at that age already?
I did nothing else. I mean, first of all, I was born in 1929 when all sorts of things happened. The Depression hit, but also the adventure comic strip hit. Tarzan started as a comic strip. Buck Rogers started. So in a way, this is a karmic birth. That all the things that affected me came about in the first few minutes of my birth. And
just been working out the details for the past 86 years.
With some problems. We were scrambling for money to pay the rent. There was a sense of tension in the household always, as there were in most poor people's households. The kids aren't told anything because you're not ready to hear this stuff. And parents kept secrets in those days. You know, everything was a secret. So in order to make my own secrets in a way, to establish my own way out of things I couldn't understand, you draw. And it's a way of not just escape, but of survival.
In the book Out of Line, The Art of Jules Feiffer, there's some art by your mother, and you brought me some of these drawings.
The drawings that you're looking at now were drawings at the time they were done that I hated because they seemed to diminish me. And my mother had to make the family living during the Depression. So she was at her drawing board all day long doing these fashion drawings. And she would look at store windows, dragging me along to, you know, and pointing out details of clothing in Saks Fifth Avenue or Bergdorf.
You were deeply interested in this.
And I was screamingly bored and thought she was doing this to torture me. And in fact, I saw it as torture. She would do these sketches and she would take them down to the rag trade on 7th Avenue and go door to door to manufacturers where she had some customers, and they would pick a design and give it $3 for it, and out of which they make a coat. So it required a lot of skill, none of which I appreciated until I became agent.
Until you became agent, I see.
Yes, it's a wonderful. Don't does a lot for you in terms of forgiving your mother.
I think of you. I think of the Upper West Side. I think that this is your natural habitat. You're now you're living out in the Hamptons these days. Is it anything like Manhattan?
Robert, your audience can't see, but take a look at me. You're looking at an 86-year-old man.
Yes.
An 86-year-old man can't do what a 50-year-old man did. I can't walk a block anymore because it's hard. I have trouble breathing. I can't hear anymore. I have these 2 hearing aids, which work on alternate days, alternate ears. I am an old man, and as an old man, not having to walk to the grocery, but to get in the car and drive when I don't hit something,
Yeah.
is a boon.
It's an important proviso.
And since I had to move somewhere, and I had been teaching at Stony Brook Southampton College, and I had lots of friends out there, I started to look around there to live. And then I had to figure out what career I could have out here when theater, because you can't write a play and not hear it. So the natural instinct was to pull together all of the forms that I had loved. And then it occurred to me to go back to noir, which I had also, the Hammett and Chandler and those guys, and do a graphic novel, and use all the talents that I had picked up over the years, but I didn't have to leave the house.
Despite all this old man stuff, Martha Faye writes about this in Out of Line. In 1997, you're 68 years old. You'd been drawing for the Village Voice for over 40 years. And the Voice decides that they could have your strip for $200 a week through a syndicate.
They were paying me too much.
They're paying you $75,000. You're fired at age 68. And I must say, your response to that event was not to go be an old man someplace.
My response to that was first to get as drunk as I could.
Yes.
And then, various things happened because I had friends. So within 5 days of being fired by the Village Voice, I'm hired by the New York Times. That's not bad. And Vanity Fair, somebody else makes a call, and Vanity Fair gives me some money to do virtually nothing because they never published me, or published me once or twice. But
They pay you anyway.
suddenly, people who, it turns out, were fond of me over the years decide that they're going to save my ass, and they did.
There's this statement that's always regarded as being very wise, that there are no second acts in American life. But I have to say that you've had a few acts.
Yes, yeah. Well, I've had endless acts because I ran out of steam on one thing, or because life happened on another thing, and I developed a resourcefulness, and where I would just look around for some other way to do what I wanted to do. If it happens too fast, you don't build these, what I used to call, these rejection deltoids, and where you are so used to being hit in the face that you just get up again automatically. The kids who were successful in high school from the beginning didn't know how to do that, so they would take a couple of slaps and they'd go into their father's business.
Instead, you've been an emotional bodybuilder all this time, psychological bodybuilder.
The only part of bodybuilding I've ever done is with my hand and my pen.
Jules Feiffer, thanks a lot for talking.
Oh, this is a lot of fun, Robert. Thank you.
We've been talking with Jules Feiffer about Out of Line, The Art of Jules Feiffer by Martha Fay.
This program is brought to you in part by a grant from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Support for NPR comes from WNYC members and from the American Psychological Association, featuring Science in Action, an initiative dedicated to illustrating the breadth and depth of psychology and how psychologists use empirical research to benefit society. More at apa.org. Farmers Insurance, out to educate everybody about common insurance gaps that can be costly, so that no one falls victim to them again. Farmers Insurance, know the gaps. Learn more at farmers.com/innercircle. And Angie's List, a service designed to help consumers fix and improve their homes. Visitors can get project support and schedule appointments with local contractors online or with Angie's List iPhone and Android apps. More at angieslist.com.
Up next on 93.9 FM WNYC is This American Life. Tonight, a story about being tormented by an internet troll, and another on the Milwaukee Chief of Police. That's next on 93.9 FM. And on AM 820, it's On Point. Tonight, On Point looks at the biker gangs of Texas and the bloody shootout in Waco. Tomorrow here on WNYC, on so-called Dinspiration websites, there's a group of women trading tips about eating disorders, but not tips on how to get better. Tomorrow, WNYC's New Tech City takes a look. Tonight, cloudy skies, low around 56 degrees. It's 74 degrees, sunny right now. This is WNYC at 8 o'clock.
This is WNYC, FM, HD, and AM, New York. Just keep listening.
From WBEZ Chicago, it's This American Life. I'm Ira Glass. This is a Pledge Drive edition of our show. All this hour, I'm going to be playing you favorite stories from our show, trying to remind you why you like public radio and why you might consider donating. And when I was trying to figure out which stories to play you today, it was utterly obvious which story we did that got the most attention in the last few months, at least on the internet. It got hundreds, maybe it was thousands of tweets. People are still passing this thing around, the link to it. The CEO of Twitter commented about it. The story was about internet trolls, which of course are people who anonymously harass other people online in comment sections and on social media. Studies show that men and women both get harassed this way online, but women receive more malicious messages and they're more likely to be sexually harassed or stalked online. Wendy West is a writer who's written a lot for places like Jezebel and GQ and The Guardian, so her work is online, and so she is very, very familiar with internet trolls. And she told this story. It's a little on the long side for a Pledge Drive show, so we're going to split it into two halves. Here's the first half.
One midsummer afternoon in 2013, I got a message on Twitter from my dead dad. I don't remember what it said exactly, and I didn't keep a copy from my scrapbook, but it was mean. And my dad was never mean, so it couldn't really be from him. Also, he was dead. Just 18 months earlier, I'd watched him turn gray and drown in his own lungs, so I was like 80% sure. And I don't believe in heaven, and even if I did, I'd hope to God they don't have Twitter there. It's heaven. Go play chocolate badminton on a cloud with Jerry Orbach and your childhood cat. But there it was, a message. Some context. In the summer of 2013, in certain circles of the internet, comedians and feminists were at war over rape jokes. Being both a comedy writer and a committed feminist killjoy, I weighed in with an article in which I said that I think a lot of male comedians are careless with the subject of rape. Here's just a sample of the responses I got on social media. Quick warning, these are internet comments about rape, so it's gonna suck. I love how the complaining about rape is the exact kind of that would never be raped. Holes like this make me want to commit rape out of anger. I just want to rape her with a traffic cone. No one would want to rape that fat, disgusting mess. Kill yourself. I want to put an apple into that mouth of yours and take a huge stick and slide it through your body and roast you. That big is bitter that no one wants to rape her. It went on like that for weeks. It's something I'm used to. I have to be. Being insulted and threatened online is part of my job. Which is not to say it doesn't hurt. It does. It feels, well, exactly like you'd imagine it would feel to have someone call you a fat every day of your life. When I got that message from my dad, it was well into rape joke summer. I was eating 30 rape threats for breakfast at that point, or more accurately, you're fatter than the girls I usually rape threats, and I thought I was coping. But if you get a blade sharp enough, it'll cut through anything. The account was called Pa West Dunzo. Pa West because his name was Paul West, and Dunzo because, I guess, he was done. He was. Done being alive. Done doing crossword puzzles. Done forcing me to sing duets at dinner parties. Done writing little poems on the back of every receipt. Done being my dad. The little bio on Twitter read, "Embarrassed father of an idiot. Other two kids are fine though." His location, Dirt Hole in Seattle. The profile photo was a familiar picture of him. He's sitting at his piano smiling in the living room of the house where I grew up. The day they sold that house, when I was 25, I sat on the stairs and sobbed harder than I ever had before. Because a place is kind of like a person, you know? It felt like a death. I wouldn't cry that hard again until December 12th, 2011, when I'd learned that a place is not like a person at all. Only a person is a person. Only a death is really a death. My dad lost consciousness on a Saturday night. That afternoon, when we could feel his lucidity slipping, we called my brother in Boston. "You were such a special little boy," he said. "I love you very much." He didn't say very many things after that. I would give anything for one more sentence. I would give anything for 140 more characters. The person who made the Pa West Dunzo account clearly put some time into it. They'd researched my father and my family. They'd found out his name. And then they figured out which Paul West he was among all the Paul Wests on the internet. They knew that I have a brother and a sister. And if they knew all that, they must have known how recently we'd lost my dad. Conventional wisdom says, never feed the trolls, don't respond. It's what they want. I do that. It doesn't help. I could just stop reading comments altogether, but sometimes I get threatening ones. Like, the other day, someone said I should get Charlie Hebdo'd. Colleagues of mine have had their addresses published online. had trolls actually show up in person at their public events. If I don't read comments, how will I know when they've crossed the line? I could just stop writing altogether. I've thought about it, but it seems to me that our silence is what the trolls want. Faced with Pa West Dunzo, I was stuck with the question, what should I do? If I respond, I'm a sucker. But if I don't respond, I'm a punching bag. So I did what you're not supposed to do. I fed the troll. I wrote about Pa West Dunzo in an article for Jezebel.com. I wrote sadly, candidly, angrily about how much it hurt, how much that troll had succeeded. And then something amazing happened. The morning after that post went up, I got an email. Hey, Lindy. I don't know why or even when I started trolling you. It wasn't because of your stance on rape jokes. I don't find them funny either. I think my anger towards you stems from your happiness with your own being. It offended me because it served to highlight my unhappiness with my own self. I have emailed you through 2 other Gmail accounts just to send you idiotic insults. I apologize for that. I created the paulwestdunzo@gmail.com account and Twitter account. I have deleted both. I can't say sorry enough. It was the lowest thing I had ever done. When you included it in your latest Jezebel article, it finally hit me. There is a living, breathing human being who's reading this. I'm attacking someone who never harmed me in any way, and for no reason whatsoever. I'm done being a troll. Again.